that we said. Now with the Death Pact, he is stronger, he is harder to kill, so these might not be the easiest kill for HR. What I would like to see from them is some fatter heroes, sturdier heroes, something that the Bounty Hunter is not gonna kill so easily team fight. So when you win a team fight, it's not like you lose 2 or 3 heroes and then it's not actually a one team fight.
He likes when you're juicy though, you know? He's my kind of a guy. He likes it juicy. He likes when you're plumpy because he uses that track on you and constantly steals your gold. Constantly shuriken tosses with that Aghanim Scepter. One team fight, I saw one of their games. One team fight, he gets another item. Pretty much one item a team fight is for Saberlight, what he does, if it's position 3.
It's still better than all of you dying to track. Like, it's better to give him that gold.
Yeah, definitely.
For a second, Lizard, I wasn't sure if you were talking about just Dota heroes that you liked or just maybe your other interest in there. Your interest as well. Oh, other interest as well.
Yeah,
there you go, ladies. Lizard is looking for that.
Taken.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, all the ladies out there. Lizard, he may be a beautiful, handsome man, but he's... taken, sadly. Wipe a tear, shed a tear for everyone in Twitch chat.
I have Twitch chat and my girlfriend, and that's it.
Oh,
that's
you love Twitch chat as well. Then look at you sucking up to the guys in
Not
chat.
really that much.
Does she know that you're sharing her with Twitch chat?
No.
There's a few thousand people to share her with.
She does, trust me. The worst thing is when you have someone outside of our little, like community that doesn't really understand when someone is openly, let's say, too affectionate towards you in the chat, and then you have to hear, like, you have to hear it for a week after someone writes some stupid shit. But let's go back to the draft. What do you think? Something like a Lotus Orb builder would be really good for HR already, or something with a cleanse ability. Purge is not there for
Oracle. Is banned.
Abaddon is an option, but not really that great. What's the way? Tell me, Hairy Freak. What's the way to deal with this bounty?
I want to... to me, this is not the way. This is a hero that gives team fight. It's going to defend the towers, but it's still very squishy and dies. So, okay, this is the way to deal with the Bounty Hunter. Have a hero that does a lot of damage in a short period of time. Then the Bounty Hunter, even if he goes for something like Hood, the pure damage is going to do a lot of damage. If he cannot go in, if he cannot get the tracks out, he's not as strong as we've seen.
One thing, though, is they're picking Timbersaw into these 3 heroes that aren't necessarily any special versus a Timbersaw. They're not really that great, but they have a natural born Vessel buyer. That's the Bounty Hunter. Even though Aghanim is very popular right now, Vessel is something that you get very early on the Bounty Hunter. And it's a clear choice, I think, for them right now.
Choice, yeah.
Versus the Timbersaw. For Timber as well, I would love to see Funnick get that Lotus as soon as possible. Yules, some sort of cleanse. And Razor now.
I mean, NiP really thought this through, to be honest. Like, they really thought it through. They have good push, they have good lanes, and they just need something that can actually win the game in the end and can possibly complement them. So this Razor is going to deal with the Timber solidly in lane. It deals later on with the Clinks. It builds items so it can be fat. It runs in, it goes with the bounty. So they get the early towers, they actually run in. On the other side, HellRaisers, it seems like they expected this, and the only hero that's actually susceptible to getting killed is the Disruptor. All 3 of these heroes are kind of sturdy, harder to kill.
Yeah, elusive, harder to kill. Clinks, we'll see where they will play it in all their matches. I think they played it pretty much everywhere. It was 4, it was 5.
Did they play it mid? I think they always played it support on HellRaisers.
4 or 5 most of the time. For HellRaisers, Navi picked it mid as well. They like to play it as a core. I don't know if you really want the Clinks to be a core right now as you're playing into a Bounty Hunter, so there is that track that's always annoying. You can't be that stealthy ninja. But then again, we have seen the same exact kind of a draft coming from 2 different teams in which Clinks was position 4 playing into a Chen. And you're thinking, all right, I'm going to hunt him, I'm going to steal his creeps, he's not going to be useless. And then suddenly Chen shows up with the mech Vlads, and you're just a Clinks and you can't kill anyone because of Hand of God. There's a lot of sustain on NiP.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. So it might be better just to put it on a support. Get some HellRaisers need lockdown. They don't have a single stun. If you don't have they have like Remnant from the Void Spirit, but if you don't have a stun for this Bounty Hunter, this Timbersaw is not going to do damage to him, as we talked beforehand, and then you have this guy just running around. You need some lockdown. You have solid damage, but you need lockdown to lock down the Razor, to lock down the Bounty, so that you can actually do the damage to them. That's what they're lacking right now. What's wrong?
I just got a message. My man likes it juicy. We have a Meepo. That's a juicy pick right there.
Your boy, your favorite.
Yeah. Today, I mean, Timbersaw is kind of fine, but they don't have a lineup that deals with Meepo right now. You need this last pick to be good versus Meepo and also not countered by Razor. And
what would you recommend?
It's a tough choice, man. I think they will have to swap up their lanes a little bit, because when NiP has a draft like this one, it's so complete. It's also... This Wyvern makes a lot of sense now as well that they picked it up early on, because it counters Meepo, and I'm surprised HellRaisers let that one go through. What do they do now?
SF, Monkey, those come to mind.
It's so difficult.
But what else? What else? I think you need to win the lane. SF wins the lane against him. Monkey should win the lane against him. Monkey would be okay here because he has a front line in the Timber.
But then you're playing Monkey into Razor and Wyvern.
It's not perfect.
And Bounty Hunter as well.
It's not
That's
perfect.
what I mean. Their draft is really good. The bans that they've had so far and the heroes that they've picked really complement Meepo very well. And this looks already for me like a free Meepo game. If they pick pretty much whatever they pick, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to take this one.
So it's an uphill battle already.
It's an uphill battle regardless. They go with the SF.
I mean, it's the best you can go. You need to destroy the lane, and you need to actually be able to fight this Bounty Hunter aggression while the Meepo is farming, because you're not going to be contesting this Meepo. You're not going to be contesting him, and you have the AoE lockdown, let's say, the fear, to go against the Meepo. So it's the best that you can hope for. It's not good. NiP really outdid themselves with this draft, if you ask me.
Yeah,
interesting.
It looks great. It's a cheesy Meepo last.
Hey, HellRaisers allowed it through, right? So NiP's game plan, at least in game one, has certainly worked out. I'm excited by this, right? Because it's straight away our CIS versus EU matchup going on here, and both teams come with their own very unique take and style on it all. HR have stuck to their guns, and NiP, they certainly had this planned and worked out. So which way are you going and why? Harry Freak, kick it off.
I'm going the way of NiP. They looked really good with the bounty. The Meepo is not going to be contested, so he's going to be free because the others are going to be fighting a lot. Though, on the other hand, I can see this SF working, but it's just very hard for HellRaisers. They don't have stuns, they only have a lot of damage, so they need to farm themselves, not give enough bounty kills, and it's really hard for them to play.
Harry Freak took a lot of your time, sadly, there, Lizard, so be quick with me. Just where you going and why, mate? Just Meepo, that's it. I'm not even going to write down NiP for you, then it's just going to be Meepo, that's it. Guys, thank you very much for this awesome starting panel for our playoff stages here, and we've got a deadly duo of commentators to come your way. I love listening to these guys, and they've got more to bring you across this entire series. Suns fan and Cinder, and how are you guys doing? Are you ready for this one?
Great. Cinder, how about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been looking forward to this. It's always cool when there's playoffs and the two regions start mixing in a format like this, because each region has like their own somewhat defined meta or heroes that they like, and then when the regions clash, you get to see who really has stuff figured out a bit more, or who has the better idea, who's just, flat out playing better. I think the panel is a little bit too happy with NiP here. I don't know what you think, but I mean...
Who cares what I think is the real
That's
question.
true.
I do.
Right, so I have a mirror on the wall. I was talking to that one, not you this time. We'll bring you Sunsfed in soon enough, guys. Don't worry, just wait a sec.
You.
So,
Don't you think
NiP
that
definitely,
Meepo is
this late pick Meepo is definitely really, really good, but I think Shadowfiend is a decent solution, and I just see the Radiant having a lot of damage and a lot of fight in them, whereas the Dire have very limited ways of engaging fights. So it's about whether they can like deathball down these towers with Chen Razor early on, I think, and then bring the Meepo in. I definitely, I wouldn't say NiP are, like, I'm not saying the panel is wrong here, that NiP are in a good spot for this game, but I think they made it sound a bit more one-sided than I would consider this.
You just went on a 5-minute monologue about how they were wrong, and you ended with, but they're not that wrong, by the way.
No.
That's what you said.
I'm saying it's not that one-sided. I think I would probably pick HR to win this game, personally.
Okay. So they are
it's
wrong,
not like,
according to you.
It's hard to say. So I
You
just said a lot of
literally
nothing
just said it.
in your optic.
What are you
There
talking about? You literally just contradicted yourself again.
What? Why?
Cinder, and this is why I love you.
What are you
Biggest
talking about?
Contradiction in life is your predictions. I don't know. I haven't seen Meepo in a long time, but I agree.
TLDR, both drafts are good, but NRP are not landslide favorites. There you go. There it is.
I mean, what do you think of... I haven't seen Void Spirit against Meepo. I mean, I guess this is a...
Does the Shield Absorb count every Meepo as a hero? It probably does.
I don't think so. I'd be surprised.
Other things do, right? Elder Titan's Astral Spirit counts every Meepo as a hero.
Does it?
So
okay, then it should.
It probably does, actually. It doesn't change very much, though. You get that little bit tankier in Void Spirit, but it very quickly gets overwhelmed by Meepo in fights. Right. It can make a difference sometimes.
Well, the panel was kind of alluding to the fact that Shadow Fiend has the ability to overrun a Meepo in the laning stage specifically. But of course, Meepo can always just go into the jungle relatively early.
And he's level 4 nowadays, though, to get...
Yeah, it's one more extra level.
It's a big nerf, actually, in a lane like this, where conceptually you're dominated in the early levels in this lane, especially when Shadow Fiend gets level 3. So if you don't do very well on the first wave or two, Shadow Fiend can bully you, and retreating into the jungle just isn't an option until you're level 4, right? It's very slow, at least if you do it. You see Kazanio already getting in the raises, harassing as much as he can. Could go with triple raise combo, he will. Wow.
Wow, what a combo. Level 1 spell still deals a considerable amount of damage. Who would have thought?
You didn't get the reference.
Top lane,
that's
though.
Okay.
What, the LD reference?
Oh, you got it. You just didn't react.
I mean, what's there to react to? It's an overplayed meme at this point.
It was the LD thing.
Funnick and Roger top lane, the Clink's Void Spirit combination against Sineko's Chen and Charlie's Razor. They're going to see Static Link. Basically, you get broken off right off the bat with an Aether Remnant. How's Charlie's farm going to be in this lane?
I think it's going to be okay, but not amazing, just because Klink's early ability to harass is really good. Well, unless he just dies now, which...
Oh, he's going to try to TP out. Healing up as he TPs will be fine.
That's good, though, for NiP. That's really good. They broke his salve. He has to get one from Funnick now. I would say the lane swings a lot when Klinks gets level 2, because now he can start death pacting the creeps that Chen takes over, which means... Like Chen's options in this lane right now are very limited. It was clear from HR that they picked it quickly into this Chen first pick, so they do consider it a counter, and I would definitely agree with that. Strong harass early on as well into the Razor, but considering it's Razor versus a melee hero, they have the same net worth right now, right? You're pretty happy with that as the Razor or as the Void Spirit. Like this is a good start. He's
one of the biggest buffs to Klink's, or biggest quality of life things. He's going to go in a 1v1 battle versus Sineko, but Funnick is here with the Aether Remnant, and that is going to be first blood, and that is permanent damage going the way of Roger.
Yep.
But being able to death pack any level creeps now is pretty huge, and obviously a counter against the Chen. And then the one lane we haven't brought up, Cinderman, is the bottom. We have Pushka on Disruptor, Nyx on the Timbersaw versus the Era Wyvern and Saberlight Bounty Hunter.
Yep.
I mean,
this is the kind of lane where
doing just fine.
Bounty's gonna steal some coin, but they can never threaten Timber. This lane can't kill Timbersaw. It's just as soon as Timber's level 4 here, you even see how comfortable he feels. He didn't even max reactive armor. He went 1-on-1. He wants to play aggressive because he knows their damage is negligible in this lane. They're just going to keep stealing, but every time he steals, they will harass back. And if Saberlight needs to buy a healing salve every time he gets a Genata off, he's not really stealing money from anyone but himself. So
that's right. Ends up breaking even. Roger, top lane's going to be close. Ooh, attack animation not quite fast enough for Charlie. Yeah. A lot of regen being expended, though, on the side of HellRaisers in that top lane, at least. But yeah, Nyx, when he gets to level 4, you assume he goes reactive armor now, right? Continuing to,
Okay. He's probably going to go 1-1-3, not for the purpose of defense, but actually for the purpose of offense, so he can start diving the tower. I think that's why he will skill this. He doesn't really worry about ganks at all. Right. Good damage on Pushka, though.
Yeah.
There's a salve.
Era doing a very good job of forcing everybody out of the lane for the most part. He's actually going to continue with that Arctic Burn. Saberlight has a level 1 toss, and he's not even going to need it. Genata, level 2. More than enough damage. But I feel like at this point, Nyx can just solo, right? Does that mean you should be putting the Disruptor somewhere else at this point, or is it too early?
it's a bit awkward for Disruptor to move when he's level 3 like this. Like, you can maybe make a gank mid onto the Meepo with the field to set up SF's raises. Or you could go to Funnick and play with him. I would actually kind of like that if the Disruptor went top. I don't think that's a bad idea. Especially considering Roger's already moving. We're just gonna consider this top lane 1.
Yeah, it looks like that is what they think right now. Funnick is going to be the solo for now. Meepo, like we talked about, in the jungle. Supreme, behind in levels right now to the SF. Ahead in CS, but I'm guessing that's just mostly neutral at this point. Bottom lane, Saberlight. Not dusted, but the Thunderstrike getting him quite low. Does have a double ring of regen right now. Going towards that urn. Into the eventual Spirit Vessel versus, of course, the Timbersaw himself. Which I would assume... I mean, it feels like every game you're facing a Timbersaw, you're going to have to get that item, which means that he just has to get a Lotus Orb. Ends up kind of canceling each other out to a degree.
Yeah. You don't mind buying a Lotus here, though. It doesn't feel bad for Timber to be forced into that item. Oh, is that... Oh, Bounty just destroyed. 5 HP.
Jesus.
The Lotus has additional value, though. It's good to have in the team against Razor, so you can reflect. It's good to have against the Wyvern first spell. Just getting rid of that. It's a lot of damage you can take out. You can reflect Curse. You can take off Earthbind. There's plenty of utility here, so he won't really feel bad about having to buy that. Nice sidestep from Saberlight. He will get dusted, though. He's dead.
Yep, he will finally die. It did take a while for him to die after being extremely annoying. Roger is actually scouting things out, seeing that Seneko is now on the run. I believe did he just eat a creep? Yes, I don't know if that was Chen's creep or not, but he will be full to the brim. Very satisfied in his choice of creep, whatever in God's name it was. But we are approaching we're about 3 minutes away from the 10-minute mark where the outpost will start making I mean, that's the biggest difference in terms of the outpost timing, the 10-minute one. Just for the levels, especially for like these level 4, level 5 supports getting that elusive level 6 era. Looks like he's going to take heavy damage. Gets the Arctic burn off, but that is more than enough coming away from HellRaisers. So down he goes, but he put into an awkward position now. That Supreme is just going to pound him into the ground. So a very easy kill for the Meepo. Ends up being a 1-for-1.
He's doing better than I thought he would on Meepo. He's doing really well. I know Supreme is really good on this hero and it's one of NiP's most successful picks when he plays it. I think they have a very, very high win rate. Maybe like 1 loss and 10 wins or something like that. So he's very capable, but yeah, even then, he's still doing better than I expected.
Well, HellRaisers hearing exactly what you're saying, Cinder, and they're attempting to gank him, but not able to actually bring him lower than half HP.
Extremely optimistic. I don't know. That was not going to work.
I mean, Funnick is level 6, but he just doesn't really deal that much.
But they pressure at this point. It's good. Like, sometimes we focus a bit too much on the kills. Just forcing him to not farm, getting him out of his safety in the jungle is nice.
Roger able to take a courier for himself. Era, if he was level 6, that would be an amazing curse, but unfortunately for him, level 4. But HellRaisers was able to clean him up and will likely take this tier 1 tower. Unless they want to continue the fight here. Roger gets dusted, will eat a creep, and die shortly after. And now Funnick is going to run into Charlie. Charlie doesn't even bother with the Static Storm, or the Static Blink, I should say. And it looks like Meepo almost was going for a kill, but the TP out to safety. So looking at the net worth, Meepo is on top. A lot of that within the jungle itself, but it feels like the Timbersaw is just a completely free game right now, at the very least. Nyx is doing great.
And I think that the challenge that you run into as NiP right now is you have this Chen who wants to push towers, but Timber will kind of be a wall on his own you need to get through, but he's also going to be pushing your side lane all the time, so somebody has to go on defense. And every time somebody goes on defense, the pushes become harder to execute. You have the Chen summon, so there is a play. But it's more challenging. There's more things to keep track of. There's more things to execute correctly. And yeah, as for now, like you said, it's just a free Timber game, right? It's almost unkillable for the Dire lineup. It's really difficult. So that's definitely an issue as far as tower pushing goes.
Saberlight will steal some gold, but he'll take heavy damage in return. It looks like HellRaisers in the top river are looking to potentially gank somebody here in the mid. Not sure if they'll find anything, as Charlie is actually waiting on the high ground here. SF, Kaysani, gonna get static linked into the plasma field. Era has the Splinter's Blast, but no creeps to use it on. Kaysani is forced to use his ult just for the fear and the fear alone as the 10-minute mark comes through. And it looks like they are split. No big surprise there. But the level discrepancy here is going to be the big thing to talk about as Nyx actually runs into a couple members of NiP, but nothing will come of it. Who was it? It was the Clinks, was just hit level 4. So getting close to level 5 now thanks to that outpost, but not sure who gets the book in this
almost
scenario.
6, he took the book, yeah. So Disruptor will have to sit in a lane a little bit. I think you can give him mid for 2 waves while Shadow Fiend farms some jungle camps. That would be an easy way to do it. As Roger now
How
got
do you
his
choose who gets the book in that scenario? Because, I mean, correct me where I'm wrong, I feel like Pushka's ult is just more powerful at this stage of the game. So why not go for the Disruptor instead of Blink?
It's honestly kind of debatable which ult is better, because the Burning Army is way more easy to use against the Dire lineup, right? Nyx
going deep
glimpse
here.
back.
Supreme getting glimpsed back, getting very low, but the mech keeps him safe for now. But there's a big curse onto Funnick. Their entire job is to keep Supreme alive, which they're doing in spades right now. Seneko used his ult already to heal him up to full, as Nyx in the wrong side of the jungle now gets a Timber Chain. Looks like he's going to be fine for now, though. And somehow, some way, 0 kills in this engagement. As I say that, of course, Funnick does drop.
Mr. Pocket Money shows up.
Only 1 kill, though. That was, like, I think that was every hero in the game, I want to say.
That was a very nice defensive play from NiP. It cost them a lot, though. They used Mech, Hand of God, Curse, but they do keep their Meepo alive and get a core kill, so... and it was a track kill, so you're definitely happy with that. It's a defense you have to make. You can't just let your Meepo die in this game. He's so tanky. Like, Meepo has such a deceptively high stat line right now. It's...
Well, not only that, but I mean, the panel kind of brought it up as well, but there's a lot of sustain on it. I mean, you have the Cold Embrace, as Clinks is going to die here in the bot lane. And of course, Chen, who does have the mechanism in tow. Lots of potential to keep him alive. I mean, burst damage is the name of the game, and Timbersaw is one of the best at it, but along with the SF, if you can get a good ult. Actually, that brings up another question. The SF, what kind of a build are you looking for? Do you need any kind of initiation when you have like a Timbersaw on the team? So a Yules?
He's buying the Yules, and I think it's good because he's playing at instant glimpse. He's playing against 1 stun, right? It's the Winter's Curse. If he has a Yules BKB, he has a guaranteed Requiem except against Curse. So if anyone can account for that Wyvern during the game, they will get a Requiem off, and that spell is obviously insanely good against Meepo. Tons of AoE damage in general against the Chen army. Together with the race combos and everything, it's really solid here.
Looks like he's going for a BKB next. You agree with that?
Yep, it was that or a
so
dagger,
Yules
right?
BKB.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
Okay. There's a lot of magic damage. Of course, Winter's Curse will still go through all of that, but there remains to be seen if that comes into play or not.
The concern I have a bit for HellRaisers is physical damage. Like if you have a safe lane Timber and your SF goes for a magic buildup, you're playing to a timing right now where you're really strong. They're going to go for the fight here with the smoke.
Yep.
See if they
Charlie on the Razor has Treads right now, finishing the drum very soon. Gets glimpsed into the Static Storm Kinetic Field combo and into the waiting arms of Kaysani. So an easy one for HellRaiser. Seneko almost gets out, actually, but a double kill here for Funnick as the chase will continue. Era still has Curse. See if they want to try and force this out, or if he even uses it. Might just take the death. And the Aether Remnant will clean him up nicely, so great fight for HellRaisers, as they're going to take this tier 1 tower as well.
I love the way they executed that. They're like, we have Yules, we have all our spells, we're going to make a smoke play. If we find any core with our Clink scouting in front, we'll glimpse them back and we're going to Requiem and kill. And then they can just ball off that. It's still the issue for NiP right now, the way I see it, is that their team fight, when everything just comes together for HR and they get to initiate, your counterplay potential is very much reliant on the enemy team being in a weak position. Supreme comes in with haste.
Supreme. He has, he wants to go in. There's 4 members. Obviously, his team is not too far behind. He's going to poof back in, but I'm not sure if they actually are going to go for this. Remember, Curse is up, but Era is not even remotely close to the fight at the moment. Has to walk there the old-fashioned way. The Glimpse, they're going to find Saberlight, so this could be a free kill for HellRaisers, and Ninjas in pajamas. Very awkward fights that we're seeing right now. Is Charlie brought to half HP? Looks like HellRaisers are very confident to go forward here. 15-minute mark, so the bounty runes are available. And now NiP is on the run again. And they're going to find Era for a second time. And they're still not going to have Winter's Curse as a result. Static link upon Nyx, but I believe NiP is going to have to most likely back here. The Static Storm is up again. This is how long this fight feels like it's been going. There's the heal from the Chen, but Charlie's going to go down very quickly. They do find the Clinks, but it's a 2-for-1 in favor of HellRaisers still. And NiP not able to catch anyone now. And even if they catch the Nyx, I'm not sure. But by Nyx, of course, I mean the Timbersaw. Was it yesterday or the other day that Nyx was playing Nyx, or was Nyx in the game?
There was a Nyx in the game and Nyx in the other team. Yeah, it was pretty confusing.
That was the worst.
Yeah, so once again, HR with the aggressive maneuver, right? As soon as they get vision and they glimpse a hero back, NiP's just lack of counterplay becomes a problem. The primary counterplay they have is Curse, but if you notice in that last fight, HR had really brilliant positioning. Like, no two heroes were close together. They kept a good distance to each other. They have angles covered with Void Spirit being able to jump in. They know if the fight is long enough, they get multiple glimpses. So just solid play. NiP are still looking in a good spot now, though, because now they got the first real timing of Meepo. They get the Ethereal Blade. He just increases damage by a lot. He increases survivability. So if they can somehow ball down another tower than this bottom tower that they now finally get minute 16, they get their first tower with their Chen strategy. That would be good news, but the big story of the game right now is happening on the other side of the map, and they seem to have no idea that this is going on right now.
Yeah, Roshan is the target here for HellRaisers. They do have a little bit of minus armor, of course, coming out from both the Clinks and the Shadow Fiend. And it looks like it is a freebie, like you said. Although, no, wait, NiP, they're on the way, because this isn't the fastest Roshan. Yeah, HellRaisers are going to have to back here.
Longer than they thought.
And they're quite damaged, so I don't even know if they can fight if they want to. This might be a free Rosh for NiP now. The Seneko and company have come to the pit, and HellRaisers are just going to have to back out. That feels really bad. Maybe they can try and steal at the end of the day. Funnick jumps in, but nope, the Aegis is on Supreme. That means NiP are likely going to win this fight, as they're going to clean up both the Clinks and the Disruptor. Now the E-Blade being used to full effect on the Funnick. Well, the Dissimulate kept him out of harm's way for a bit, and actually the Earthlines are missing. One finally roots him in place, and that should do it. So 3 kills and the Rosh out of nowhere, and probably this tier 1 tower as well.
That was actually the worst possible thing that could happen for HellRaisers. They went to an objective, they couldn't kill it fast enough. Then all of the teamfight and all of the catch of NiP lacking doesn't matter, because now they can just run in there, be like, this is where we are strong. Oh, your Clinks has 10% HP? Perfect, 5-on-4. And we're just going to run into the pit with Meepo and you guys can't fight us. So they kind of just did NiP's job for them. This is where NiP's lineup is supposed to go to get an advantage and get ahead in the game. And HR, usually under those circumstances, will try to initiate and take a teamfight out of it. But they put themselves at so low HP that they couldn't do it, and they had no positioning advantage anymore. So NiP will say thank you very much. Great read from them to go in there at the time they did and make the decision to just kill it. You know, they weren't scared at all. Summoning mid from Chen. They're gonna get
Pushka gets the glimpse off, but there's more than enough members here to hold your horses.
He's dead.
All right, he's done so. And that's going to be another track kill going the way of NiP. What are your thoughts on... So, we talked about the BKB on Kaysani, but he actually switched up and went Boots of Travel first, and now is going Blink into BKB. So it's pretty much exactly what you kind of brought up in terms of the physical damage not exactly being that high right now. Basically all magic for the most part. I mean, you got Void Spirit's magic, Shadow Fiend in this game is magic, where he could have gone physical in theory, and then Timbersaw is a mix of magical and pure. Seems like all their eggs are in one basket here. There's not enough variety in terms of the damage types.
Yeah, that's my big concern here. I mean, outside of the fact that they kind of just gave a Rosh away, I think that's the bigger problem. Like, you can still solve this damage discrepancy later. Shadow Fiend can take the damage talent on level 20 and do some sort of hybrid build where he goes the Yules to be strong now, and then he can go BKB Daedalus later, for example. It's not perfect, but it can get the job done. Maybe Clinks can scale if he has a good time as well. He can get at least some meaningful physical damage out. But yeah, for now, It is also possible that when the enemy primary cores a Meepo that you don't need that much physical damage because he's never going to be able to have BKB on all of his Meepos, right? So you will have a target, at least. Oh, they found Bounty Hunter. He's dead. Raises.
The bounties are up as well as Bounty Hunter dies.
Oh, he's not dead.
No, he runs away. There's a Winter's Curse onto 2. Looks like Kaysani will find his way to the grave very shortly, and indeed he does. The Death Requiem goes off, and Pushka denies the bounty rune that he could not quite catch up to, and then dies.
That was
right
a really high impact Hand of God. Oh my.
Bonanek might be in a little bit of trouble here. Doesn't have Astral Step for another 5 seconds, and that means everyone can go to town on him. That's a triple kill for Meepo across the map. And yeah, NiP is just snowballing out of control, it feels like.
Yeah. This is getting really, really ugly for HR right now. Like NiP, this is everything they wanted. They get a couple of extra kills here. They can go down mid. They have all of their cooldowns ready except Hand of God. Meepo still has the Aegis. You could be looking at potential poke into high ground here. As Nyx will TP home against the track. But man, what just happened up there was so important. The Hand of God keeps them alive. Because of that, they get 2 track kills, since Bounty Hunter doesn't die and can track them both. And they're forced to deny the bounty rune that they would have got otherwise. This is like a 2k gold swing in that one fight, basically, of what was the expected outcome.
Clutch. Maybe even more. Another tier 1 tower goes the way of NiP. Meepo is working on an Eye of Scotty. Already has that Blink Dagger as he's shown.
Yeah.
Pushka. He's got to be careful.
He has a good ward to work with right now in the enemy jungle.
How long is a glimpse versus a poof in terms of duration? Do you have time to poof as you get glimpsed? If you have one.
I think it interrupts the cast if you get pulled back. So you have to cast it again regardless.
Oh, I see. Even before you've gone back.
Yeah,
no, I mean, poofing to the Meepo that you're glimpsed.
Oh, you can poof in with the others before the first one gets glimpsed back.
Before the glimpse goes through.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you can.
Of course, he'll probably end up going a Sheep Stick at some point. He's actually going to find Clinks, and it's just, I mean, ooh, wait a second.
Waiting for try.
Waiting for a poof? Oh, okay. Smart play. Extra gold goes the way of NiP, as they have a 6k net worth lead now. I thought he was actually taunting him, not gonna lie.
Super flat in the last 10 minutes. Like, he had a pretty good start. They got off to a great start in the top lane. They got the first blood. He got a bit of damage. And then it feels like HR haven't really been able to take the kind of team fights that I was expecting. They got a couple of 2 to 3 hero kills with the glimpses, but this Roshan thing just blew all steam out of them. That really swung the entire game. They were in a decent spot until then. And now, according to Mr. Win Expectancy, we're talking 92% NiP right now, which is kind of crazy, but honestly, it's probably pretty accurate. Like, we do know it's a good Meepo game, and since they're ramping up this fast, and there's no real objectives for HR to get now, they've got to be kicking themselves that they chose to go for that. Like, that was the biggest moment of the game for me, for sure.
I think yeah, obviously they do regret going for the Roche. I like the idea of it a lot. It's just they didn't have the damage.
Yeah, and that's what sometimes happens when... I would imagine this is not necessarily HR's 100% comfort zone draft, right? Safe lane Timbersaw on Nyx and then a mid lane Shadowfiend going magic build. They probably don't have a very clear feeling of how long this Roshan takes. If they knew how long it would take, I think it's naive to go for it. So they were probably expecting it to go faster than it did. And then when you're committed and it's down to like half HP, you're like, okay, well, we're in, boys, you know? So then they keep going, get it down to a quarter, and then they get cold feet because the entire enemy team goes missing. So, yeah. I think, did they have both the medallion and level 1 or 2 death pact when they did it? So they had like minus 7 or 8 armor.
They had medallion or not. I'd have to go back and see. But obviously, I mean, I don't know what level SF was, but I assume he had at least a couple in presence at that time.
Yeah, they had presence too. Probably level 2. Yeah, I mean, they had a decent amount of minus armor, but Roche is just
they have a good
big
Roche
boy
killing
nowadays.
lineup. But they just didn't have the damage. I mean, I'm not the best in the world, but they have enough minus armor to be able to take it with enough farm.
Oh, that feels so bad if he doesn't kill this courier now. Okay, he got it. He's probably going to die for it, though.
That is the BKB.
Yeah, that was
I believe
big
that is for the Razor. Yeah,
See ya.
We'll go bye-bye. Was that for the Razor, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Charlie's BKB.
So he'll have that in 2.5 minutes, but he doesn't really care because they can just continue to fight if they really want. I mean, they're kind of in the driver's seat in a lot of ways. They can take it slow if they really want. I mean, Meepo still has room to grow, but he's also the hero that can just literally jump in and annihilate anybody at this stage of the game. And we'll be going for that cheap stick like we talked about. That's when he's at his scariest. There's a point where he kind of tapers off. We'll see if that ends up being. Looks like Bounty Hunter's going to get caught inside this kinetic field. They do see him. Decent amount of damage. Essence Ring is popped into the Simulate, into the Glimpse. All this work to try to kill a Bounty Hunter, and they can't even do that.
2 PHP and Pipe and Essence Ring.
He's tanky. He's actually going for Ags as well.
Essence Ring is part of the 2K, but yeah. Pipe is the perfect item in this game for Bounty, I think. I'm very happy he didn't rush the Ags. I know Saberlight loves this item on Bounty Hunter, but I think going Pipe after Vessel is a good read on the game. Like, you want to make your Meepo the boss, and this is the best efficiency item he can buy for his Meepo. Just getting Pipe on all of them against Shadow Fiend is super.
Alright, they dust Saberlight again, but now they're scared. They remember the last time they fought him, he got out after they used literally everything. So they're going to do it again. He gets remnanted up. Getting relatively low. His team is actually nowhere near him, so he might actually fall now. But here comes the Meepo, demolishing that Disruptor out of nowhere. Kesani, BKB, Requiem ends up fearing the Bounty Hunter. They still cannot kill this guy. Good lord, how long will he live? Finally, after everything expended, they can take out the Bounty Hunter. A 1-for-1 with a buyback now on the Disruptors. Kesani, I mean, it's a good thing he bought these items because he's super fast, and that's the one benefit. Roger getting static linked in the backside here. Charlie's going to pop that drum. Roger, looks like he has enough distance there. No vision to speak of. And I think that will end the fight. As I say that, of course, Era dies. But still, so much was expended, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like that. Was that the 10-second BKB? Yeah, that was the 10-second BKB in Kesani.
The big thing that we're seeing in this fight, though, is that Supreme doesn't feel fully confident that he can do whatever he wants. And that's the difference for Meepo between having an Aegis and not. If he has an Aegis, they win this fight because he will hard commit into anybody he wants to shut down and just ball over the fight. But he still has to show a little bit of respect. He's a bit worried that if he commits too hard on, say, the Shadow Fiend, gets Requiem plus some sort of Timbersaw follow-up or a Void Spirit catch, that they can get the damage out. He knows his life is extremely valuable. I think maybe he could have still done it, but it's understandable that he doesn't want to go fully hard. You know, Roche is up.
I caught the tail end of this, but I think they looked in Roche, and then he spawned the millisecond they left the pit. I'm going to have to check again here. But obviously, Meepo
they'll see it now with the Wolf.
Super fast. Yeah. They might want to take a fight, maybe pick somebody off beforehand, but HR, they have the high ground here. Clinks might be the bait. Indeed, he might be. The Clinks dies immediately, but there's a Winter's Curse defense. Charlie with the BKB static link applied to the Shadow Fiend. The BKBs have already been popped galore, and he's going to find his way to the grave. It's a 2-for-0, and Charlie's going to continue to chase onto the Nyx. Looks like that is a 3rd kill for NiP, as they can easily go for the Roshan now. Even a free DD, if they want to pick that up. And the Pushka is just going to deny it, though.
And that is a dead Roche. Timbersaw has no buyback, and if Shadow Fiend buys back, he has half his souls. It's a really bad buyback hero. But they don't even want to go for the Roche. They're just going to shove down mid, see if they can get a lane of Rex first.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point about Shadow Fiend. One of the worst buyback heroes in the entire game. Even if you have his ult, it's going to be...
It's a really weak ult.
Way less. Yeah. Way less impactful. So they're just going to give up the racks. They could go for bottom. Actually, they go for Megas if they really want. All the outer towers are down, so mid-racks is completely down. Fortifications popped. This might indicate to them that HellRaisers want to defend this one. You would hope so, at least. As the Zoom from 10 will commence, and my god, Clinks is instantly deleted. And now the tier 3 tower will fall. Can they defend this top racks? Well, they're going to attempt to. There's the jump in onto Supreme. One of the Meepos is relatively low, but the Void Spirit is taking heavy damage. Astral Step out into the Winter's Curse, and he will fall to the Winter's Blast shortly thereafter. Supreme jumps in again. He is getting relatively low, but 2 already dead for HellRaisers as they are confined to the Fountain. And I do believe this is going to be not only a second lane of racks, but most likely the GG if they continue. Knowing that 2 heroes are dead, I believe the Disruptor bought back recently, so they know that one's down. Yeah, they're just going to continue this push.
This went
People didn't even
really
get a chance
fast
to buy a
suddenly.
sheep stick. Yeah.
I think this was a very interesting game to watch. I'm going to talk about it in past tense because this will be Mega Creeps most likely.
The game has ended. HellRaisers just doesn't know yet.
It's pretty clear that you could see what both lineups were going for, and you could see the strengths of what HellRaisers were able to do early to mid-game. You could see what NiP were waiting for and everything. And once again, it's going to keep coming back to that Roche decision where the game was even, and that if there's a fight there, whoever wins that fight